This will be for the con assignment, simplify rational expressions, common binomial factors.
Mr. Shearer, if you're in the building, you're looking to get in the main office.
So they want us to simplify the following rational expression. All right. So in the numerator here, I can see these are all divisible by 5. So I'm going to factor out a 5. Okay, and then divide each of these by 5. 5 divided by 5 is just 1. Negative 50 divided by 5 is going to be a negative 10. And 45 divided by 5 is going to be a positive 9. Okay, so rewriting this, we have k squared minus 10k plus 9. Okay, and on the bottom, k squared minus 18 plus 81. Okay, so we can factor this and this. All right, so let's see. Two numbers that multiply to 9 and add to negative 10. If we write out the factors of 9, negative 9 and negative 1, positive 9 and positive 1. Okay, do any of these pairs add to negative 10? It's this right here. Okay, so we still have the 5, and this is going to be rewritten with the negative 9 and the negative 1. K minus 9 and k minus 1. Now in the denominator, factors of 81. Okay, 9 times 9, negative 9 times negative 9. Okay, and I forgot the k right here. Do we have two numbers that add to negative 18? Yes, right here, negative 9 and negative 9. So I'm going to rewrite the denominator with the negative 9s. So we have k minus 9 and k minus 9. Okay, so these are all multiplied on the top and on the bottom. So I can cancel k minus 9 over k minus 9. All right. So they just said to simplify the expression, so that's it. It's going to be 5 times k minus 1 over k minus 9. Now, the second question, which values of k makes the expression undefined? Okay, undefined would be a 0 in the denominator. Okay, so we can see right here, k minus 9 and k minus 9. If k equals 9, you're going to get 9 minus 9, or 0, in the denominator. Okay, so if you had a k equals 9 in here, this would make it 0. All right, so this is the first answer. All right, so I click the fraction button. 5 times k minus 1, and then go to the denominator, k minus 9. Okay, and k equals 9 for the second one. And that's it. So here they want us to simplify the expression. All right. So we have 100 minus 4z squared. Both of those are divisible by 4. So I'm going to factor out a 4 and divide each one by 4. 100 divided by 4, that's a 25. And negative 4 divided by 4, that's going to be a negative 1. So I'll just cancel the 4. All right, so rewriting, we have 4 times 25 minus z squared And that's divided by z squared minus 10z plus 25. All right. And to be honest, it's easier if the z squared is positive in the first term. So I'm going to change this around. Instead of the 4, I'm going to make this negative 4. And then that will make this negative 25 and positive z squared. Okay? So if I can just rewrite this, I'm doing an extra step here. Z squared minus 25. All right, and let's factor the bottom while we're at it. Two numbers that multiply to 25 and add to negative 10. Well, that's easy. Of course, that's negative 5 and negative 5, right? These add to negative 10. So I'm going to rewrite this with the negative 5's. Z minus 5 times z minus 5. Okay, also you can write z minus 5 squared, same thing. And now, we still have the negative 4, but here we have z squared minus 25. Okay, so there's a formula for this. If you have a squared minus b squared, that's the same as a minus b times a plus b. Okay? The reason that works is because when you use FOIL, the inner outer term drops out. Okay? If you use FOIL, a times a is a squared, but the inner outer terms, negative ab and positive ab, just equals 0. And then finally, negative b times positive b is negative b squared. So that's what we have in the numerator. The a would just be a z, and the b would just be a 5, because b squared is 25. Okay? So instead of z squared minus 25, I'm going to write z minus 5 and z plus 5. All right, that's the same thing as z squared minus 25. And on the bottom, z minus 5 times z minus 5. Okay, and now these are all multiplied on the top and bottom, so I can cancel z minus 5 over z minus 5. And I'm left with negative 4 times z plus 5 divided by z minus 5. All right? And what would make the expression undefined? Well, if you put a 5 in there, you get 5 minus 5 in the denominator. That's 0, and you can't divide by 0. So z equals 5 would make it undefined. So this is the answer to the first question, and this is for the second one. All right, so I'm going to do negative 4 times z plus 5. And then outside the parentheses, I hit slash. And the denominator, z minus 5. All right, and for the second question, we said z equals 5. Answer D. All right, one more. So, in the numerator, we can factor that right away. We want two numbers that multiply to 40 and add to negative 14. Okay, 10 and 4 would be positive 14. But negative 10 and negative 4 would be negative 14. That's what we want. So we're going to rewrite the numerator with this. X minus 10 and x minus 4. And for the denominator, it's actually the same thing we just did. Remember, if you have a squared minus b squared, that equals a plus b times a minus b. All right? So in this case, a would be x. And since b squared is 100, b would just be 10. The square root of 100. Right? So I'm going to rewrite this in this form. So a plus b is going to be x plus 10. And a minus b is going to be x minus 10. Okay, if you want to double check it, use FOIL in your head. X times x is x squared. And inner outer, we have plus 10x and minus 10x. That's just 0. And then 10 times negative 10 is negative 100. So we're good. And then top and bottom, the negative 10, x minus 10 cancels. So we have x minus 4 over x plus 10. All right. Now for the second question, the ones that make the expression undefined, you have to be careful because it says choose all answers. All right. So we have to look at the one that we canceled, not just the one that's there now. For x plus 10, if x were negative 10, that would make this 0. And 0 times whatever is going to be 0. You can't divide by 0 in the denominator, so that's no good. And here we had x minus 10, okay? So if x were positive 10, you would have 10 minus 10, which is 0. And then multiply by that, it's still 0. So both of those cannot be used in the denominator. It would make it undefined. Okay, so here's for the first question. I'm going to do x minus 4 and then x plus 10. And then the second question, we have positive 10 and negative 10. Okay, here's positive 10, here's negative 10. All right, last one. So let's do the factoring here first. Negative 57, two numbers that multiply to negative 57 and add to positive 16. Let me try a 3 first. 3 into 57 is going to be 9. Let's see. So negative 3 times 19 or positive 3 times negative 19. Do either of these add to plus 16? Yes. Okay, so rewriting the numerator using this, x minus 3 and x plus 19. And for the denominator, we can factor out a negative 4. Because I want the x squared to be positive. So 36 divided by negative 4 is negative 9. And negative 4x squared divided by negative 4 is plus x squared. Okay, so we have x squared minus 9. Okay, now remember our formula. A squared minus b squared. That's going to be a plus b times a minus b. All right. So the a is just x. And the b is 3, because b squared is 9. So b is 3. Okay? So instead of x squared minus 9, I'm going to write this. A plus b is going to be x plus 3. And a minus b is going to be x minus 3. Okay? X minus 3 over x minus 3 cancels, and we're left with just this. So you enter that in the box. All right, hit the fraction button. X plus 19 in the numerator. Click the down arrow. Negative 4 times x plus 3. Okay? And now for the second part. What makes the expression undefined? Okay? You can't go by the final answer. You have to go by the original. Okay? Before you cancel. So here, if this were negative 3, if x equals negative 3, that would make this 0. Can't have 0 in the denominator. And right here, this was x minus 3. So if you do x equals 3, you would get 3 minus 3, which is 0. Okay? So both of these answers are correct for the second question. 3 and negative 3. Here's negative 3. Here's positive 3. Okay? So just remember this formula right here for this exercise.